Hey everybody, I am going to be playing around with my Distress Oxide sprays, but before I do all that, I just wanted to show you the difference between the regular Distress spray stain and the Distress Oxide spray. So the Distress spray stain is only dye, and that's why it doesn't show up on black cardstock or dark surfaces. The Distress Oxide spray has pigment and dye, so that's why it shows up very well and very pigmented on the dark cardstock and the white, of course. All right, next I am just going to be spraying them out for you guys just to show you the different colors. And I am doing this on white cardstock and black cardstock. It's pretty much the same, but I wanted to give it a try just to see if there was any variation with color, and there really wasn't, but how would I know if I didn't give it a try, right? All right, so the first color was Wilted Violet, which is one of my favorites. That second color is Fired Brick. This third one is Walnut Stain. This next one is going to be Peeled Paint, which is one of my favorites. Well, they're all really pretty, so I can't really complain about the colors. They're super gorgeous. All right, this next color is Cracked Pistachio. This next one is going to be Fossilized Amber, which is another one of my favorites. And you do have to shake them up quite a bit because that pigment sinks to the bottom, and you really want all of that pigment to be mixed in with the dye so that it sprays really nicely. All right, that last color was Iced Spruce, and that pink color is Picked Raspberry. This blue is Faded Jeans. And this one is Mermaid Lagoon, which is probably one of my all-time favorites. And this one is Vintage Photo, which is a classic color. And you can see here. And then I believe this one might be the last one, which is Spiced Marmalade. All right, so you could see all of those colors, and again, they don't really vary in color between the white and the black cardstock. All right, so next I wanted to try them out on some watercolor paper, and this is just some cold press Strathmore watercolor paper, and I just cut it down so I wasn't wasting a full sheet of the watercolor paper. So I just dipped the brush directly into the bottle, and then I just painted it on. And the paper is dry at first, and then now I'm going in with some water just to kind of see how it blends out, and just to see if the pigment and the dye, if they separate, and they end up reacting really well, and I really love how it looks on watercolor paper. I'm definitely going to be using these to color some flowers in the future. You could definitely use your Distress Oxide inks, but the sprays are very convenient because you could just dip your paintbrush in them. And the color that I used on the watercolor paper was Mermaid Lagoon. All right, next thing I wanted to try was to spray them on some vellum. I was really curious to see how they would look on the vellum, and the oxide effect was really cool on the vellum. And I used the color Wilted Violet for this one, and I'm just drying it so you guys can see. And I'm going to hold it up for you guys a little bit closer so you guys can see the oxide effect. I think it really turned out really cool on here, and you could still see through the vellum just a tad, but the pigment in the spray is very vibrant still. All right, so next I added some white gesso, clear gesso, black gesso, and plaster paste, and that is going from the bottom up in order there. And I wanted to see how they would react and how they would look on all of these different mediums and pastes, because I do a lot of mixed media projects, so I wanted to see if they would even be an option that I would want to use for a mixed media project. They pretty much reacted the same to all of them except two of them, and I'm actually really excited to show you guys. And now those are actually on the next card here on the left. You could see some sand paste on there, and I'll get to that in just a second. But again, that is white gesso, clear gesso, black gesso, and plaster paste that is on there. The plaster paste did make the, let's see, what color was that? Faded jeans turn a little bit purple, or the purple pigment in that color, I should say, showed up a little bit in there, as you could see. All right, so that is a quick look at clear gesso, white gesso, black gesso, and also plaster paste. And all of those are Prima marketing products. And this next card, I have sand paste, light and fluffy paste from the Crafters Workshop, and on the top there is paper paste from Prima Marketing. So I really like how the Distress Oxide spray looks on the sand paste. It's really different than any other spray that I've used. And the light and fluffy paste, the oxide effect really showed up really well on there. And then my favorite is the paper paste. I think it reacted the best on there, and the pigment just is really vibrant. If I were to use any sort of paste on a mixed media project where I was going to use the Distress Oxide sprays, I would definitely use the sand paste and the paper paste. Those are definitely my favorites. All right, so I sprinkled on some water so that oxide effect will show up, and then you just kind of dab it off and you could see that wonderful effect show up. The sand paste actually didn't have any oxide effect show up even after it was completely dry, but I really like that it stayed very vibrant in color. And that is going to complete this video. It's just a few things that you can do with your Distress Oxide sprays. If you liked this video, please give it a thumbs up. You can also leave me a comment down below. I love reading your comments. I really enjoy them. And I want to thank you guys so much for watching, and I will catch you guys later. Bye.